I'm a dire Tristan Cyclones fan, and we need to stop missing the old era and start loving this year's defense. Let's preview the Iowa State linebacker room. My name is DJ Cole. Welcome back to Cyclone Kingdom with the linebacker room up ahead. Linebackers, DBs, special teams, and the season preview on the way soon. Make sure you like and subscribe for all Chiefs and Cyclones content. Stay dialed in on all things Iowa State and Kansas City. The linebackers for Iowa State is one of the reasons why I love this defense and why I love this team so much. They bring so much to the table in terms of their talent level, their intensity, and their ability to tackle. And it's not because they have a lot of big name guys. In fact, a lot of the guys I'm going to mention today are guys that you've never heard of. And that's part of the beauty of this defense. Because when you think about like someone like Kurt Warner, when he was a no-name guy at Northern Iowa and then played arena football and all of a sudden made it big in the NFL, it's because of his talent and his work ethic and his ability that got him to that point. Well, similarly, some of these guys are coming from the FCS level into a room and into a college football landscape that is shifting, ever-changing, and puts them up against some of the best of the best. We mentioned it last preview show. The first 3 of the first 6 for Iowa State are against ranked teams. We're going to find out very quickly how good this defense actually is. But the linebackers will set them apart similarly to how the defensive line will help set them apart. Because if you have that front 7 all working together, then it doesn't really matter what the back end's doing because you're going to be able to get to the quarterback. So let's look at the depth chart of the Phil Steele Preview magazine of the linebackers for Iowa State going into 2026-27. Carson Willich, Tristan Exline, Willie Breland, Sullivan Schlimgen, and we're going to talk about a couple other guys as well that are near and dear to my heart as returning Iowa Staters. Carson Willich is a guy that I am super fond of, similar to Zamir Hawk. Zamir Hawk and Carson Willich might be 2 of my favorite Cyclones period this year because of the fact they stayed at Iowa State. Carson has ability, but he hasn't had a lot of opportunities. Keep in mind, he was injured a lot last year. He only played in 6 games. He only played in 6 games. If you remember the 2024 season, when Iowa State somehow made the Big 12 championship game, despite having injuries galore. A lot of that had to do with Carson Willich not being available. Well, Willich's now a senior. And he has everything in front of him to go have a career season for Iowa State. He's a part of a defense that, as we've talked about, is shifting, is changing from a 3-man front to a 4-man front, which allows the 3 linebackers in the back to go hunt the quarterback or to go hunt a ball carrier or a pass in the flat or going back to a little button hook pattern from one of the wide receivers. It gives more freedom to the linebackers because the 4-man front is now able to just go rush. Carson is made for that type of environment. He's being thrust into an environment that I think is very much suited to him. Very different from the 3-3-5 where he doesn't have to have all this speed and all this. He can be a stereotypical normal linebacker that's just thick. I mean, the guy is 6'1", 230. So I'm not as much worried about Carson Willich being fast as I am him being able to tackle in space, get to the quarterback on a blitz, whatever it may be. Because there's other guys in this linebacker room that have speed for days. They got speed for days. But shout out to Carson Willich, man. He is something else in terms of just him being able to stay around in Ames, Iowa, and love this team, love this school, and love putting on the Cardinal and gold. Shout out Carson, man. Tristan Exline. I love Tristan Exline. To this day, I can't remember which FCS school he came from. If it was Arkansas Pine Bluff or if it was a different school in Texas. He's coming from a school that's that unknown, but what isn't unknown is his ability. Let me go through a couple stats quick because I know it's a little different, but he played at UT Birmingham Basin. There's the actual school. So it wasn't Arkansas Pine Bluff. It wasn't any of the other schools I was thinking of. UT Permian Basin. Never heard of him? Neither have I. But here's what he did at UT Permian Basin. He played in 14 games. So they played 12 games, and then they obviously had some FCS games in the tournament. 142 tackles. 19 and a half tackles for loss at the FCS level. Now you might say, oh, FCS, he was playing against guys that are insurance agents right now. Oh, he's playing against guys that wouldn't have made it on any other football team. They wouldn't have made it on high school football teams. Keep in mind what Kirk Cignetti has just done at Indiana. Do you know where Kirk Cignetti just came from? Yeah, James Madison, which just more recently became an FBS school and had all success in the college football playoff. But Kirk Cignetti came from a former FCS school as well. So I don't want to hear that FCS this, FCS that, therefore they're not good. Furthermore, I don't want to hear Iowa State's an FCS school. Watch your words and watch your mouth. Because you might eat those words, Hawkeye fans. Other people claiming Iowa State's not going to be good and it's going to lose so much money they're going to go to the FCS. Watch your words. Watch out, because you better not lose to us if you're talking that much smack. It's one thing to talk trash about another team. It's another thing to demote them and call them dirt. And say that they're not even good to be an FBS school. It's a complete another thing. And the disrespect towards Iowa State and towards these linebackers especially, many of whom are FCS guys, you better watch out. Because they've never been given an opportunity at the FBS level. And Tristan Exline is a dog of dogs. Going into his senior year, 6'1", 215, and finally has an opportunity at the Power 4 level to go fly around and make plays. I can't wait to see more highlights that come out of this guy at fall camp. Iowa State football, media and admin, shout out to them and all the great work they're doing on X over there and all the videos they're putting out. But I'm so pumped for Exline. I think he's going to be it's tough to compare him to some of the great Iowa State linebackers, but I even think of a Marcus Neal and the way that Marcus could just pop people. Shout out Marcus Neal. Hope he does well at Penn State this year. That's what I hope for Tristan Exline as well. Then you got Willie Breland, who's a junior, played at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. Guys, they're coming up from the FCS ranks. And Breland, as a junior, as a sophomore in 11 games, had 35 tackles total. He was a first-team all-league in the FCS league that he was in, and he's been given opportunity now. So shout out to Willie Breland. But who I really want to talk about is Sullivan Schlimgen from Washington State. Because he makes or breaks this room. We keep talking about guys that make or break the rooms for Iowa State. Sullivan Schlimgen makes or breaks the linebacker room. Because he knows Jimmy Rogers' head coaching philosophy. He knows Jesse Bobbitt's defense like the back of his hand. He was a part of that defense that took Ole Miss down to the wire. And almost won a couple other games against Power 4 opponents. He's played big boy football before, and now he plays in the Big 12, which is slept on as a football conference. I know they haven't had Big 12, or they haven't had college football playoff success. Texas Tech has let us down a lot of ways in that area. But the Big 12 is still being slept on in terms of the talent level in this conference. Schlimgen now gets to play against some of the best in the BYUs and the Texas Techs and the Utahs and things like that. So what can he do? Because in last season, he had 49 tackles and only started 4 games. He was also a rotational player similar to Bobby Terrell. But what Schlimgen provides is that leadership quality. You think about the green dot guys in the NFL, the guys that you hear that get the play calls put into their helmet because they're the quarterback of the defense. Schlimgen has the opportunity to do that. But if he doesn't, there's still guys around him that can help him out as he's getting used to Ames, Iowa, and Big 12 football. All due respect to Washington State. But they're not the Big 12. They're not Iowa State. They don't have the success that Iowa State has. And then you look at two of my favorite guys. I'm going to lump them in together. In Rylan Barnes and Beau Goodwin. Rylan Barnes and Beau Goodwin. I can't wait to see both these dudes turn it loose and have some fun. Rylan Barnes in 2024 played a key role in Iowa State being able to withstand a lot of injuries and make that Big 12 championship game before Cam Scadaboo did unspeakable things to them. And Beau Goodwin finally has his lane. He finally has a chance to go ball without having to worry about the Caleb Bacons, the Caleb Brazinas, the guys that are in front of him that were taking up his playing time. Now we can go do it. So Rylan Barnes and Beau Goodwin, coupled with Carson Willich, provide a linebacker room for Iowa State of former Cyclones that provide a semblance of something for these newer guys that are coming in. The last guy I'll mention is Montreze Smith from Austin Peay. There's a lot of guys in this room that I could talk about, but I want to talk about all of them, and Montreze Smith is in that category because at Austin Peay, not Austin Peay, at Austin Peay, he had 8.5 tackles for loss. So nothing crazy again. But he's 5'11 and 204 pounds, which means he has got speed to kill, man. He's got speed to kill. And I think he provides a lot more to this room as well. So Iowa State's linebacker room, you can rotate a lot of different guys. So how would we rank it 1 to 10? How would we rank Iowa State's linebacker room 1 to 10? Again, make sure you like and subscribe for all Chiefs and Cyclones content. We're rolling out these position previews as we get ready for week 1 coming up in just less than a month. The linebacker room. Similar to the defensive line room, I'm very, very high on, but I'm not as high as the D-line. I'm going to put it at an 8. 8 out of 10 for the linebackers. They're loaded. There's a lot of rotational pieces, but there's a lot of new guys that still need to learn how to play together, unlike the defensive line where you can just kind of be in your individual lane and go rush the passer. Linebackers kind of have to have a cohesion to cover the pass and things like that. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments of what you think about Iowa State's linebacker room going to 2026-27. Fall camp continues to roll on for Iowa State. We'll have a full defensive and special teams preview on Cyclone Central, our exclusive Iowa State podcast, tomorrow as we're recording this. So make sure you check that out as well. And as always, guys, roll Clones. And how about those Chiefs?